Welcome to Growth Colony, Australia's B2B growth podcast. I'm Alex Hipwell. Each episode, we bring you B2B founders, CMOs, marketing and sales leaders to find out what makes them successful and what was behind their failures. Let's dive right in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode. I'm Shahin with X Growth, and today I'm talking to Nick Flude, Chief Marketing Officer of Secure Code Warrior, about how should B2B marketers communicate with their sales team. We've all heard that it's extremely critical in the B2B space for sales and marketing to work together hand in hand. But in many cases, marketing and sales speak different languages in terms of KPIs and success metrics, which makes it harder to align them. So in this episode, we're going to discuss how marketers should approach this. Nick, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Great to be here.
It's great to have you. So Nick, as I mentioned, we're talking about alignment between sales and marketing, but specifically about how marketers should approach the sales team and speak to them, okay? Why do you think sales and marketing alignment is an actual challenge these days?
I think you touched on it in your opening there. We speak a different language. You know, we're both operationally focused. We're both looking at leads. We're both looking at opportunities. We don't kind of tie them together at the business level. So to have, you know, my pet bugbear is marketers who don't talk about revenue. They don't see that they can contribute to revenue. So revenue is something that the sales organization does. And then on the sales organization, they're going, well, so I'm driving revenue and you want me to prospect and you want me to qualify a poorly qualified lead. So there's obvious tension between the two. Ultimately, both functions within a business are there to deliver the same outcome, and that is revenue for the organization. But for some reason, there is still this lack of I think it's an understanding and it's an empathy. Yes, there are different personalities at play. You know, marketing can dismiss sales as just being coin operated. Sales can dismiss marketing as just being the coloring in department. But if you're aligned and combined to go, no, we are in the trenches together. We are here to generate pipeline and revenue for the business. We do it in a markety way. You did it in a salesy way. And I think in B2B, particularly within the SaaS organization, because B2B buying is changing, B2B marketing and B2B selling have to be changing. So it is about kind of working together to jointly move either a prospect forward or through their customer journey or ultimately grow business at the top line. Now, we do it in different ways, absolutely. And that's where the alienation of clicks and likes versus all opportunities, you know, and deals and all those kind of things. So there's a lack of understanding from a terminology perspective. But that's where you need kind of good leadership between the two going, okay, no, we're actually in this together.
Yeah. I mean, you talked about revenue, and I agree with you. I feel like sometimes marketers might feel stuck or they don't know how to communicate in revenue, right? They're like, hey, the organization has put a MQL quota for me. And, you know, that's how I speak. And I say, hey, I gave you MQLs. And how should marketers go about talk revenue, basically?
I mean, you hit it there. You know, using a term MQL. So is that marketing qualified lead? So I've thrown this over the fence. It's a lead. Go do something with it. Whereas what I'm doing is requalifying the term qualification to be qualifying. So within the marketing stack, marketing qualifying leads are not ready for sales yet.
Right. So you're saying you have a term that a lead comes in, and we'll talk about what you mean by a lead first. But right. Mm-hmm. You're saying that it's interesting because you say there's another step there. There is a marketing, you call it marketing qualifying before it becomes a marketing qualified
sales. Well, no,
lead.
It's marketing qualifying. And then when it has finished qualifying, it then moves to the sales organization as a sales available lead.
Okay, tell me more about that. What does that mean?
So the traditional taxonomy or the traditional kind of flow, you know, serious decisions and those clever people came up with MQL, SAL, SQL. But within B2B, you know, a marketing inquiry, that's nonsense. It's a moment of interaction. Every marketer on this planet is going, I'm doing a podcast, I'm doing a blog, I've got some digital assets, I'm doing a Twitter campaign, I'm doing something on LinkedIn, I'm doing hot air balloons and skywriting. They're all moments of interaction. So the challenge for marketers is attribution, the big scary word. So we're doing all of those things. So they're moments of interaction. And if all they do is go, so what's that being written in the sky? Let me Google that. And then they land on your website. So they've had all of these moments of interaction, but that's not a lead. It's not a qualified lead. It's a moment of interaction. So as a marketer, you're then capturing that interaction and doing something with it. If it's the right demographic, psychographic, whatever, you're going to move them from that MI stage, a moment of interaction, and going, that's somebody that should be interesting to us. So then we're moving those into the marketing qualifying stage because they're in the unawareness to awareness stage. They've just seen you skywriting or your balloon or whatever you're doing. Then they're going to go into their education phase. Who are you? Who is writing on the sky? Who sent me this thing? Which ad am I clicking? So they're in that educational phase. Just because I know your name or I know that you've downloaded a white paper, that's not a lead. And for goodness sakes, don't send that to sales as a lead, because it isn't. It's somebody who has gone, I've seen something funny over there. I've downloaded a white paper. I'm consuming content. I'm still educating, still in the qualifying stage. Then you might send them a follow-up. Here's what I've seen. You've read that. Would you like a video? Would you like to come to a webinar? Moving through the customer journey, unawareness, awareness, liking, preference, purchase. So then marketing qualifying is still happening, and you're doing more and more and more, and you're using a solid automation platform, your lead scoring, you're getting everybody warmed up. You might be going, give me your name here, here's some value, give me your job title. And then within your job title, you might be able to skew the next set of content. Still in the educational phase. Then the challenge comes along as a marketer. If you're not commercially savvy, when or what do you give them to move them from that education to liking to preference? So in those funnel stages, we're now getting down to the bottom of that middle of the funnel. And this is where B2B marketers are starting to be, going down the funnel a little bit more, because you're going, hey, do you need a business case? Do you need commercial examples of where customers like you have used us to deliver an outcome? Still in the qualifying stage. And if they're going, yes, 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 then you can trigger them to sales available. And that's when the salespeople come in, because it isn't the sales job to qualify a marketing lead. Their job is to go and find an opportunity. So at the sales available stage, they have three choices. In my model, they have three choices. Because it's all digital, if somebody's come through and they've said their, Mickey Mouse at Disney.com, and they've said their job title is our target job title, they've clicked and clicked and clicked and clicked and clicked, that comes through to the sales organization as a sales available. That's obviously trash. It could also be that lead has come through because one of our sales team or anybody within our business is saying, go check us out, go download a white paper, come to a webinar. I know you're not ready, but we'll, just keep abreast of us, keep working with us. So the sales organization will also see that lead. And if your lead routing at the back end is correct, that account owner will see that, Sally has come along and interacted. And I spoke to Sally, there is no lead, so I'm going to recycle that, or there is no opportunity, so I'm going to recycle that. So of the three options, one is recycle, one is trash, and the second one is go do something with it. So then the sales available lead becomes sales qualifying as an opportunity. And then the sales organization and their skill set kicks in as they go through. Potentially, they might do a discovery call, they might do a research piece. If it's technology like ours, they might do a proof of concept or a trial. And then out of the trial, then hopefully you're going to get a proposal. And then out of the proposal, you might get a win, but you might get a loss as well, or you might get a not now. So redefining definitions to then say we get the journey that you have to go through, rather than just going, well, yeah, Sally downloaded a white paper, there's an opportunity there. No, you don't. You don't know that. And no, marketers, you're relatively immature as a marketer. I'm choosing my words, as you can see.
I can see.
You are relatively immature as a marketer if you are giving your sales organization a list of names and the white papers that they have downloaded, and then expect sales to give a rat's about what you're doing tomorrow, because you're asking them to qualify the lead. That's not their job. That's your job as a marketer. Their job is to then take that lead that has come through all of those smarts and then go qualify it to see if there's an opportunity there. That's their job.
Before passing it.
That's the sales job. And then they will close win it, or it will become close lost, or it might be deferred. But that's the tension between the two, this definition of definitions. What are you giving me as a marketer? What do you need as a sales organization? If you're not having those conversations and going, let's just remove all the noise, let's get around the table, let's define what a lead is between your sales group and your marketing group. Point number one, just go and have that conversation.
That conversation with sales, specifically having sales in the
Absolutely.
room, right?
You're giving them something that you want them to do something with.
And that brings us to a good point, right? That brings us to a point that I want to ask you is, what are the conversations and the questions marketing should be asking their sales counterpart to better understand their world, so that they can align themselves more with revenue, right? Because it's great that you have this model, but let's be honest, you have plenty of experience in this space, and you can see that spectrum very clearly. Where some marketers might not be able to do that, right? Some marketers might not have as much visibility in sales life. And, when we talk about revenue, sales is at the front line, right? They are bringing in their revenue. So what, if I'm a marketer, right? When I'm sitting down with my sales counterpart, what should I be asking them? What kind of questions should I be asking them?
I would. It's going to be an uncomfortable conversation, the first one, because you just ask them, what's wrong with the leads that you're being sent at the moment, and that's not meant to be inflammatory. It's just honest. Is it because you have to do so much heavy lifting? Is it because we've not qualified their job title? Or do you mean you need a specific job title? Yes, because we're selling this thing over here and it's not fit for those over there. A marketer should know that, but I'm saying should because it's not always, accurate. So just having a conversation with a salesperson, going, honestly, are these good? Are they bad? Do you need to do too much heavy lifting? The other thing that a marketer should be asking the salesperson is, in terms of creating and crafting a proposition to the market, is what are your customers and what are your customers telling you that they are worried about? What are their pain points? Because any good marketer will go, right, if your customer or your prospect is telling the salesperson, this is what keeps him up at night, this is what I'm worried about. As a marketer, you should be reacting to that and going, okay, well, if the customer's telling my salespeople they're worried about 5 things and we can solve those 5 things, that's an instant marketing asset, because you're going to spin that around and go, hey, here's a new asset, here's a new white paper, here's a new webinar series that is going to just slowly go through each of those 5 pain points or whatever they are. So you can learn a lot from just having a conversation with sales. On the flip side, I'd encourage sales to have a conversation with marketing to then say, well, actually, how difficult is it to capture the attention of anonymous people and then get them to stop what they're doing and look at what you want them to look at, and then capture and pique their attention to then do a little bit more and then read something else and read something else. So mapping out the customer journey, if you want a process, go into a room, get on a whiteboard, map out the customer journey to then say, in our industry, going from unawareness to awareness to liking to preference to purchase, and there might be, in a SaaS sense, you might then have onboarding and expansion and renewal and advocacy. So map that out identify who your buyer is. Is it the same as your user, or is your user different to your buyer? Again, significant,
And you're
answers.
saying for sales to ask these questions, or for marketing to dig deeper?
It's both. Go and dig deeper. Go and look at the whole life cycle of that lead's journey to try to then understand it and workshop it from both sides. We've created a new white paper. Oh, good. Okay. What was the audience? Which stage within the life cycle is that white paper for? What do you want them to do after they've read that? Marketers struggle with call to actions. Yeah, map it out, work out what you want them to do next, work out what they have done to get to that point. And then the call to action isn't just download now, click here, sign up for a demonstration. It becomes much more tangible than that one. Do you need a business case? Do you need to speak to somebody who can help you, purchase, help you install, help you onboard? That's much more useful to a prospect than just click here now. Christmas is 14 days away, get one early. So it's the commercial, getting into a commercial reality. Marketing is a commercial function. There's nothing dirty about you're here because your business needs to generate revenue, or even in a not-for-profit, there is still something that your organization has to gain. What is that? And don't be afraid to then go and have that conversation with the salespeople going, how does a customer buy? How do you pitch? How do you tell the story of the company or the product?
Yeah. I think you have such a strong point. I think, the whole being revenue focused being dirty for marketers, because marketers are like, we're here to educate and we're here to, do this. And sometimes that goes too far and becomes too soft. And marketers are like, no, we don't want to force them to do anything. And, the realization is not there that the business needs to, see ROI from here. And we're doing that for that purpose. And then some of the KPIs move away from revenue, right?
Yes.
It digresses. And I'm fascinated when we talk to companies and we're like, they're like, hey, we're having a hard time getting buy-in from sales. And the question, just like you mentioned, is, what are you talking to them about? What are you bringing up? Because the salesperson is thinking about commission. I mean, yeah, great, company revenue, all that. At the end of the day, they're thinking, is what marketing doing is going to bring revenue, is going to bring a commission in my pocket.
Correct.
And if you're not talking the same language, you're done. You're not getting by.
Yeah, and marketers don't that's where they will ungraciously say that sales are coin operated. But you go to marketers and you go, okay, I'm going to give you want nice car, you want all of the stuff that you see downstairs, with the salespeople. They work on, let's say it's a 50-50 split. So they get an okay salary as 50%, and then the other 50% might be commission or earnings, and that commission might be uncapped. If they do a good thing, they might be earning hundreds of thousands of dollars. So as a marketer, well, if you want that, then you do that. You take a hard number. You take a number about revenue contribution to the business, and are you prepared to do that? And 9 times out of 10, when I've challenged a marketer about their salary or their comp plan, they go, oh, no, I need my 100% of my salary and I'd like a bonus as well. Yeah, but how about I give you 80% and then give you an uplift based on company performance or individual goals? And even then they're going, oh no, a hard KPI on revenue? I can't control revenue. So of course you can. You can educate your buyer. You can educate your seller. You can be where they need to be. You can craft a compelling story. All of the buzzwords and things, storytelling, that's another kind of buzzword.
Yeah.
That's another one. So a marketer can have an impact on revenue. You're doing it in a markety way. Sales are doing it in a salesy way. In B2B selling, when you've only got the sales channel, yes, it becomes a little bit different. So therefore, marketers think about not just educating your buyer, but educating your seller as well. We're just about to launch a new campaign. Okay, have you briefed the sales team? No? Good chance of success. Oh, we sent them an email that we put up an intranet page. Okay, lovely.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Nick, you opened up a can of worms, and maybe I'll touch on this. Let's touch on this as a last point. Okay. Yep. So do you think that marketers should be compensated similar to have a comp plan similar to sales? Obviously, maybe it's not revenue, maybe it's opportunities created, or or something like. But are you of the school that marketing should be on commission?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Why not? It changes the behavior. Any sales manager will tell you that if you've got the right kind of commission plan, then you're driving the right behavior. So marketers, they want, if somebody runs a marketing campaign that kind of, triples the lead volume, is that something that's commissionable? Well, let's see what they turn into before we kind of go, you've got commission on leads. Do you want commission or a bonus on outcome? So let's focus on the outcome. Now, as a CMO, I want excellence in my marketing team. So I want a campaign to do better than before. I want volumes going up. All of our internal KPIs are OKRs to make sure that marketing is doing the best damn job it can do. But you're then looking at the business going, well, so somebody does 1,000 leads, but sales only close 1. So is that a problem? Does it reflect effort? Does it reflect and compensate effectively, the creativity that's gone into it? Or do you then split that and go, right, you're going to have personal KPIs and contributions, but you'll also get some business benefit as well. So in a bonus scheme, you might be running, a 50-50 split of your bonus to then say, right, if the company does well, you'll get 50% of your bonus based on company goals. But then there's also 50% that could be at risk, and that's going to be your personal KPIs.
Contributions. Yeah. This is a topic that I'm very passionate about and very interested, but unfortunately we don't have enough time to dig deeper. So we might have to bring do another back. Or that's it. That's it. I was about to say that. I was about to say it about marketing compensation. But before we wrap up, there are a couple of rapid fire questions I want to go through with you and get your answer on those. Okay, number 1. What is one resource? It could be a book, it could be blog, podcast, et cetera, that fundamentally has changed the way you work and live?
That was a hard one. I think as a failed guitarist who is only limited by two things, that's a lack of practice and a lack of talent. I like reading biographies. So the Keith Richards biography is a real tell-all. So I'm going to go with that one.
Keith Richards, gotcha. Number 2, if you could only give one advice to B2B marketers, what would it be?
Go talk to sales.
Number 3, what are the influencers that you follow in the marketing space?
There's a couple are out there. If you go through Twitter and you look up Dave Gerhardt, he's a good one. So he's running a kind of a B2B kind of marketing kind of blog series and some websites. So he's a good one. He's ex-Drift and he's Privy. Christopher Lockhead at the moment, Mark Ritson, those kind of classics. And then as you then look into, you still got the Seth Godins and people like that, which put it into a bit of a context. More broadly than that, go look at Bill Gates's blog and then go read the books that Bill Gates says go read, because they're very wide, they're very eclectic.
That's true. I'm always looking at what are the books that he's holding in his hand when he's he shoots those photos and has like the books of the weeks, and I zoom in and I'm like, which ones are these? Last one. What's something that excites you about B2B today?
I think there's an element of humanism that's coming into it. So I think we've realized that just because somebody is B2B and just because somebody might work in a large organization, that they're not humans. So you go back through the IT press and when we used to do full page ads and things, it was all about the box with the flashing lights and all those kind of things. And if it went fast, there was a picture of a Ferrari or something like that. But I think that it was actually something that I saw that you said on a podcast where you were speaking, humor. So humor for Secure Code Warrior is an identified part of our brand. to be quirky, to be slightly left of center, to throw in pop culture references, all those kind of things. Because ultimately our user gets it, but so does our buyer. So just because they're on one side of the business, don't forget that they're humans too. And I think that's where the biggest changes are coming from the B2B side of things, because you should be recognizing that your buyer is a person too. So appeal to them on that level.
I love it. I love it. Nick, this has been an awesome conversation. There's been like topics that are coming out. I'm like, oh, I'm writing them down. I'm like, all right, we got to do another episode on this one, another episode on that one.
I'm happy to, because my team know that I unfortunately crap on quite a lot. So I'm more than happy to kind of jump on another one.
No, I really appreciate it. Well, Nick, thanks again for coming on the podcast and sharing all the insights with the listeners.
Brilliant. No problem at all. Thank you.
Hey, it's Alex again from X Growth. Thanks so much for joining us on this episode. If you enjoyed it, we'd love it if you take a moment to rate us on Apple Podcasts. It would really help get the word out to other B2B professionals. If you're hungry for more B2B content, make sure to join our Slack channel at growthcolony.org/Slack, where we share the latest B2B news, tactics, tips, and chat about problems we're facing in the B2B space and find solutions together. That's growthcolony.org/Slack. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next episode.